Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We're doing Come Build With Me today, which it's gonna be a little bit different because I usually do like Come Build With Me 15 minutes at a time. Today is different. I have this video and I've sped it up to 4 times the speed, actually. It took me about an hour and a half to build this, and I need it for my plan. Okay, I have a plan. Really quick before that, I was sick at the beginning of this month. Well, I'm recording this at the very end of July, so I was sick at the beginning of July, and I've just had this like lingering cough since then. So whenever I talk a lot, I start coughing. So I'm going to edit out the majority of it so it doesn't bother you guys, but it might make my cuts a little like awkward. So fair warning. There you go. But my plan that I'm so excited for. I have been building a full town lot that I'm really excited about. If you guys have watched my Not So Berry challenge, I've had them live in two now. One that was like in Magnolia Promenade, and then another that I just placed. I think they're in Tomarang, maybe. It's been over a month and I can't remember anymore. But I really enjoy placing different houses and different kind of community centers all on the same lot. Since I'm a player that is really lazy, I really don't like having to travel in my Sims games because the loading screen takes forever. Because I don't have a super duper high end computer, I don't have super duper crazy graphics, but I do have a lot of custom content and an average like gaming computer, right? So I like having it all on the same lot. So full towns are what I enjoy building, and I have been building one and recording myself building one so that we can go back to 15 minutes at a time. But for that to happen, I do need some houses, and over time I've kind of learned that it's easier to build the houses like on their own lot and then save them as rooms. I was gonna say, and then drop them onto the lot you want them. But really, you just like upload them into the lot that you want them, and then you have to edit, because I guess I'll just explain it now. Basically, when you have a build that you're like, this needs to be a room, because when you place things from the gallery, it wipes the entire lot, right? So to avoid that, you place a room because the room won't wipe the entire lot. You have to delete walls so that it registers as like one room, and you have to do it by floor too. So you have like first floor room and then second floor room. That's how I do it. It can be a little bit frustrating at times, but I find it less frustrating than the game not being able to save correctly when I'm trying to build on my big lot, or it crashing in the middle of me doing that. Because sometimes it will crash when you're like putting the room in there, putting the room onto the lot, but then you just reload it and like try again, and eventually it works. So that's my plan. That being said, here we are. I have my sped up video playing. I'm going to be building a micro home. I'm also going to do this for the next episode. I have a tiny home that I'm really excited to show you guys. But for this episode, building a micro home, let me show you guys my reference picture that I was working with. And it will be going into my full town build, which will be the next like big episodic thing that I do for this side of my channel. Okay, as you guys can see with the reference photo, I was looking for something that had a nice big porch. Because it's a micro home, it's going to be really small inside and really cramped. So I figured like, oh, if they want to, they can put furniture outside and just like host people outside if they have people over. This is a look into my brain, which is thinking that real people live in this house, but they don't. It's literally Sims. They don't actually care. But I care for them. So they need an area where they can like have people over. But the other thing that I love is big windows. Are the other thing that I love are big windows. So my reference photo has the exterior of a house with big windows and a big porch area. And obviously, it's not gonna look the same as this photo because, unfortunately, we cannot do cool like beam and strut designs like this roof has. But I liked the general shape of the house, so we're gonna ignore the roof. Even though it's like a big part of this photo, like this building, this house, part of the draw is like the strut design of the beams. But it's okay. It's The Sims. It doesn't need to be that cool, right? It's gonna be one of many homes in this town. What's also crazy is I'm recording this at the very end of July, and this probably won't come out until mid August, maybe late August, depending on how I space my other videos that I have prepared. But that means summer is almost over, which I just think is crazy. I feel like ever since becoming an adult, summer isn't about like taking a long break from school, you know? I guess not since becoming an adult, but becoming a not in school anymore adult, right? I'm not in high school, I'm not in university. I don't have semester classes that run from fall to through the winter and into spring, and then I take summer off. I work full time, so I work fall, winter, spring, and summer. But summer remains like vacation season, right? And kind of this, I've always had this sense, probably from school, that summer is the time to like go on vacation and do fun things, especially because it's usually warmer weather. Especially where I live, we get snow during the winter. So, I don't know. I'm not sad that summer is over. Fall is actually my favorite season. I live in a place where the trees change colors and oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous driving through canyons and mountains and everything. But summer was fun, especially this last summer. I feel like my husband and I did some pretty fun things, which is what I'm going to talk about. A big thing that we do is paddleboarding during the summer. We borrowed my parents' paddleboards last summer and we went to the lake a whole bunch and it was super fun. Kind of expensive if you don't get like a summer pass, but we're like, we're only gonna go one or two times, and then we ended up going like 8 times. Cause I love the water. I love it so much. I love being on it. I love being in it. It's just one of my favorite things to do, especially during the summer when it's like hot. And there is something about the air being hot and feeling the sun on your skin and then being cooled down by like the water. Ah, so nice. But this year we borrowed the paddleboards again and then we actually did buy like the year-long pass to the spot that we really like and enjoy. And and last time we went, so last week, we stayed until the sunset and it was just such a nice experience. You'll find out that I love sunsets. It's just gorgeous. It's a great memory to have and to make with other people, especially. And I think that watching it set behind the mountain and being on the water was a really cool experience. And the way that, like, everything just gets a little bit darker, but it's not dark, it's just not lit up by the sun as much. So you have time to, like, come in and put the paddle boards or whatever you're using up for them to, like, drain out and dry off. But it's not, like, super cold. So that was really fun. And then the other thing that we did was travel. So July was our absolutely craziest month. I spent a ton of June just like recording so that we could take July off technically. So my husband had a trip with his like D&D group for a weekend getaway. And then we realized that was right before our trip to California when we were going for like a week to visit some friends. And then I had been invited on a different cabin trip with a friend of mine, and it fell the week after. So we were like, oh, that's too much. 3 weeks of travel is too much. So my husband went with his friends, came back. We flew to California. We went to San Diego, which was really fun. And then we came back, and then I went to Idaho with my friend for our trip. So we are back, recovering from so much travel. I love traveling, it just takes a lot out of me, is all. So it's fun to be getting back into recording and doing all those things, putting videos together. It's really fun. My Not So Berry challenge, I just finished Peony's run, so like generation 8 of the Not So Berry challenge. And I am about to start generation 9 green, which is nice, with my sim Basil. It's really fun. Go check that out if you're interested. I'm actually really glad that I recorded a whole bunch in June because apparently Sims has been super broken for like weeks. And I'm super blessed that I missed out on that. I'm very grateful that I didn't have to deal with my game breaking and my files being corrupted and things like that. So grateful. And I will need to start recording. Obviously I've already started recording, but I am thinking of taking September off just cuz Ethan will be starting the semester at the end of August, beginning of September, and it just switches up what we're in charge of in our home and in our marriage and everything. So, probably taking September off. But then I'll be back the month after, right before the holidays, which will be nice. I did want to talk about San Diego because it was such a fun trip. We went and visited some of my friends. Well, my friend and then her husband, and now by the end of the trip, we are all friends, so it's great. But they showed us all the good Asian places in like San Diego. So we ate great Asian food and we went to all of the Asian shops and like looked at anime stuff and stores like Dyson, which is like a Japanese dollar store kind of, and then like Uniqlo, which is a clothing store, and I actually got my bag. This is not sponsored or anything. I just love my bag so much, and it has little cherry blossoms. Ah, it's so cute. But I love this bag now. It's like all I use on the daily. So thanks, guys. But we had really good ramen. We had really good sushi. We had really good xiaolongbao, which are like soup dumplings from this place called Din Tai Fung, and it was so good. Oh, I've been dreaming about that food since we got back, and it's been a few weeks now. We also got classic California burritos, which apparently you have to get if you go to California on the coast. And to be fair, they were like excellent, super good burritos. But we got to eat those on the beach during sunset, and like I said, I love sunsets. It was a great memory. Honestly, like probably a core memory was eating burritos with my friends and my husband on the beach watching the sun go down. So fun. I love water and I love the ocean. It just like speaks to me in a way that other parts of nature don't. So, man, I wish I lived on the coast. It was such a blast. And then, like I said, I came home and almost left immediately for my trip to Idaho with my other friend. And her family owns like a cabin, and we were able to spend a day at like Bear Lake, which was really fun, and then visit some hot springs, which I didn't know this, but apparently Idaho is like famous for its hot springs. And I didn't like know that. I just thought Idaho was like the potato state. But to be fair, it's because I had a professor, I studied like landscape and plants. I had a professor who worked with a lot of Idaho potato farmers. And so his classes were just full of like pictures of crazy potatoes from Idaho, and his lectures always had like a joke about Idaho potatoes. So that's why I thought Idaho was just about potatoes. Turns out, also famous for hot springs, which is really cool. And it was a great experience. It honestly, I was like, this is my beach episode when I was in California, and I was like, this is my hot spring episode when I was in Idaho. So that was a very fun, like, main character moment, I guess, for me. I will say the trips were so fun. It made summer way fun. Coming back from the trips and recovering, not fun. I got like 50 work emails after my week in San Diego, and then like 20 more after the next weekend. So it took me like 4 hours to sort them all, read through them all, and respond to everything on the Monday after I got back. So not fun. But I did it. I can do hard things. And I enjoy work, so like that wasn't that bad. So I wanted the house that I'm building, right, to still, it was going to be cozy no matter what, because it's a micro home. There's very limited square footage. So it's not like it couldn't be cozy. There is no room for it to be spacious and empty. So cozy wasn't really on my mind. I kind of had it like checked off on my mental list. But I did want it to feel homey, and it's a little bit different than feeling cozy. So I chose furniture that I thought would be cute and let the sim who's coming home be like, I'm home. Which again is such a weird thing for me to think about because they're sims. They don't care. They're pixels on a screen. But I care. I'm like the type of person that can't choose the mean dialogue in video games. But I was just playing my farming game, my cozy farming game that has a little spice of combat, you know. And I won't say what game because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who might be playing it. But you know, it's a cozy farming game with some combat. So I'm just like gardening in my village and like, you know, stuff. Saving the entire village because that's what you do. But like then all of a sudden I had to choose to like save somebody, like actually save someone's life. Like I save them and they don't die, or I don't save them and they do die. And that was just not a choice I was expecting to have to make. Never had to do that in one of these games, and it was refreshing. I enjoyed it. Not while I was playing it. While I was playing it, I was freaking out. Like, excuse me, what's going on? But afterwards, I feel like it's a really good mechanic that they used and a good excuse for some of the other things that happened. So, it was fine. I don't even remember why I started talking about this. It had to do with something. But yeah, I had a super fun summer. I enjoyed building this thing. I think I built this actually like back in January when I started my Come Build With Me series. And I'm not mad. Like, it's a great build. I remember enjoying building it, and now I get to share it with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.